here we go. Okay, we are back. Welcome to Inside the Dojang. I'm your host, Leilani Dangadang, and I'm here with Master Ester Kim of Eagle Taekwondo in Las Vegas.
Yay! Hi.
Thank you so excited for you to be here. Okay, so we've talked about this a couple times. I feel like we've scheduled you to be on the podcast for a little bit, and I'm just so excited that we're here right now. Okay, we are at their new Durango location. Well, it's not super new, but it's the newest of the schools.
1 year old.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like we come here not all the time, but testing's here and stuff. Open, yeah. So super nice. I love this space. And obviously, before we get into it, I do want you to talk about your Taekwondo journey, how you got started. Obviously, you've been training for so long. You're a master of 3 schools now with you and your sister, Master Helen. And just kind of, can you get into how that all started?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in a Taekwondo family, so my dad started it. So we were literally born inside the Dojang because we would have his older students say, like, I remember you when you were running around like a 2-year-old. So I know we were there like since the beginning. But yeah, he started in 86. So next year is going to be our 40th year of being open. So yes, it is kind of like a huge thing. It's like crazy to say 40 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he started it then, and then again, we were like born into the Dojang. I don't think we had like a normal, I don't know, kid routine. Maybe it was just part of our routine. It was just different. So we would go to school and then go to the Dojang. Like that was like really our second home. Like we did our homework there. We took naps. Like it was just
took naps.
Literally, our office was, trop location. Mm-hmm. Before we remodeled, there was like an office that was literally took up half of the space in that small room.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. We had an unnecessarily big office, but it was probably because I don't know what the reasoning was, but we used it as a second home. Literally ate there. We did our homework. We took naps, and then like that was our place to be. But anyways, and then we remodeled it after he passed. So he passed away pretty all of a suddenly. It was because of a heart attack at the age of 52. So he was pretty young, and we were young as well. I was 18 and my sister was 20. Yeah, so I was like right about to graduate high school. And yeah, so it was like a lot that happened at once because we were like, I honestly blacked out at that moment. I don't genuinely remember exactly how I felt, but my mom always brings this up saying like how admirable it was that we wanted to open right away. So he passed on Wednesday, and then we had his funeral on Saturday, and then we opened on Monday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my mom was like, are you guys sure? Like, but I don't know. Again, like, I don't know exactly my feeling of it, but it was just instinct for us. We were just like, we have to. Like, there's no questions asked. Like, we're doing it. It wasn't like, do you guys want to do it? It was just like a strong yes.
Absolutely.
Like, absolutely, we're doing that. So I don't know. We do have, me and my sister, I think my sister more has a lot of fight, and we both have a lot of fight in us to like make things work when they aren't type of thing. And we've carried that on, I think ever since then. So yeah, sorry, that was a big, like,
that's so sudden though. Like, that's crazy how you guys, I mean, obviously being so young and then not even having any hesitation, be like, okay, well, obviously we're going to be open for classes still. Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe subconsciously you guys were like, this is how we carry on his legacy, even though he's not here.
Yeah, it didn't translate that like that in my brain. I think it was just like, this is how we grew up. Like, this is what we have to do. Like, we're not just going to say goodbye to it. Like, it means it was our childhood. It was our lifestyle. It was our, home forever. So it's one of those hard things for us to probably let go as well. But yeah, it was maybe along the lines of wanting to carry on his legacy as well. But then over time, we really truly found like, this is for us now, like versus it's only about my dad. Because I think that could be, you know, hard in itself if it's not our dream, but it really genuinely turned into our dream as time passed on, because this is what we know and this is what we love. And yeah, that's
awesome. So how old were you when you started training Taekwondo? Like, or
see, that's the hard question.
Because you guys were always there, but when did you officially?
I think it was that age 3-4 probably is when he made us jump in.
And then I know a lot of students, when they start, they like have a really inconsistent Taekwondo career. Like they'll stop, try another sport. I'm assuming you guys didn't have that because your father was obviously owned his own school. How long did it take you from you getting started at 3 or 4 to get your first dan?
I was 9. I mean, it's still like that in Korea, but it's like poom, which is our poom belt. But we used to call it junior black belt, but that was our first poom. So we would get that. And then when we turned 16 is when you get your official black belt.
Okay.
So we still kind of grew up in those rules and those times. But yeah, so I was 9 when I got junior black belt.
Nice. Okay. And then it was about the same timeline for Master Helen as well?
Yes. It's hard to remember. But I'm pretty sure he kind of scaled us the same, but she was like 2 years older than me, so
obviously had that head start.
Yeah, but I feel like growing up, remembering it right now, like I just feel like he's always made sure we leveled up and like was hard on us and just all of these things. Harder on my sister probably because she's the older one. 100%.
That's usually how it goes.
She's gonna tell you the same. No, but that's why I have a lot of guidance right now, and I think that's very Korean culture like, or maybe just my dad. But he was very like, you have to take care of your sister, so I'm gonna be really hard on you only. So my sister got it really bad. But
maybe that's Asian families all around.
Because
I relate to that.
Okay. I got lucky second child syndrome. But no, I'm so grateful because she takes care of me now. So
I love that. Older sisters, right?
Yay, shout out to.
So when you were younger, what was your favorite part of Taekwondo? Because obviously you guys kind of started, your dad just put you into it. When do you think you grew to like it on your own? Or did you already just kind of start off loving it? Or how did you feel about it as a kid?
I think it just goes in waves because, again, it was something put upon us. It's like quitting wasn't an option. I don't think it ever was in our mind, like, I have a choice.
You're here no matter what. So I might as well like it.
A little bit. I'm glad that was there because it really instilled discipline in us. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't feel like going, like you're here and you have to make do with that. And so it's taught me a lot of that in other areas. But yeah, like, I don't think I know I've liked it. Sorry. I don't want to say like I've never liked it. But it comes in waves. It's never like I loved it for like this many. Yeah, it's just a roller coaster of like, now I'm really liking it. And it's like, wow, I hate it. No, sorry, I don't mean to say that like in the sport that I love right now. But it does come in waves. But I really feel that I found my passion through helping people. And I think it's after my dad passed a little bit because I didn't understand the full picture of what Taekwondo can do to people until I think that big moment happened. And then I had to grow up. And then I'm like, wow, that was something that I want to kind of pass on to other people of like mentorship or just guidance of how I could help them become better themselves too. So I think that whole side of Taekwondo, I really, really love because I think Taekwondo is better in your life than without.
I agree.
Like, maybe it's so biased. It's so biased because it could be like that in other aspects of things that you put, but Taekwondo is so good for you, I feel, in many aspects, health, your mind, and it shapes who you are. It has a good understanding of like who you are as a person and how you could become better. And then just leadership, personal development, confidence. Gosh, it could go on and on. And you already know all the values and virtues that it teaches. And it's something that's what became the passion.
Okay.
And the sport, I'm so glad that it's Taekwondo because it's the coolest sport ever.
I agree.
And there's so many avenues to Taekwondo that you can go into that won't get you bored. Because I get bored easily type of person. And so it's one of those like, there's just so many different avenues that you can touch and you still are a white belt at it. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many different things you can level up in. So that's what I love about Taekwondo. And I guess it hit me later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Not as a kid. I wasn't like, at least that I remember. I'm sure I did. Mm-hmm. It just, from what I remember, I think it's when after his passing is when I really fell in love with it.
Nice. No, I completely agree with that. I think because my Taekwondo career wasn't always consistent, but when I was a kid, I was like one of the weird kids who always loved it. I never hit burnout. I was taking classes 5 days a week. My grandpa used to take me all the time, and because he didn't mind sitting at the studio for like 5 hours. My mom would be like, I'm going to drop you off and pick you up later. And then I took a 9-year break, a really long break, after I graduated high school. I moved from California to Vegas. Obviously I had to start working. Adult life got in the way. And looking back at it now, I did try to kind of find ways, or I was looking for ways to keep with it, but I worked nights. I was a server. And it just never worked out. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now, had I figured out a way to at least squeeze in like one class a week or make it work, I probably would have been a different person in like the best way. Mm-hmm. I feel like it would have kept me out of a lot of trouble for sure. And kept me really grounded. And then when I went back with Zoe, I feel like I really connected with like who I am and who I'm meant to be. And I know that sounds like really cheesy, but I feel like I just got reintroduced to my main characteristic fundamentals and the person that I want to be. Mm-hmm. So I completely get that. I love Taekwondo. That's obviously why we're talking about it, why we're doing this. It's great. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as a kid, obviously you guys trained super, super old school and traditionally. I know you competed in both, right? Poomsae and sparring. Mm-hmm. Which one did you favor?
Well, I always did both. It switched. I think as a kid, I liked sparring. And then as a teen to adult, I switched to Poomsae. But then I still liked sparring too. I don't know. It was one of those I think I really like sparring for the thrill of it. They both have their thrills. Sorry. No, this is my first time answering this question. Can we edit this out? Hold on. No, I just enjoy both. I just enjoy both a lot. They just have so many pros in different parts, but it's all the same too. And I think my dad back in the day, just in general, the sports side wasn't developed as much as it is now. So it's one of those like, I don't think we had necessarily the right tools and things like that to kind of constantly get us to the next level. But from my dad's history, he was a fighter. Like he did sparring. Like he was known for that.
That's so cool. I think people who excel in sparring are the coolest because I can't. It's not my thing.
Yeah, he was very old school in that sense as well because he was special forces in the military.
Oh, wow.
He was in the Rock Army and just very traditional, really tough man.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think I love those aspects of what he taught us because it was a lot of grit and we sparred without gear back in the day.
Oh, that's crazy.
We had carpet, so how our Dojang looked back in the day was gray carpet, a trop gray carpet and good old duct tape.
Oh my gosh.
It's just a rectangle with gray duct tape and then 2 lines like representing the sparring in the middle and like where the ref would stand. So it's like these.
That's hilarious.
It's just duct tape. That's how our layout was.
That's super old school.
And I just remember just like racing or like doing running exercises, and getting rug burns all the time.
Oh my god!
But it's like such an old school problem. But
that's
now
so funny.
I guess the whole like controversy of old school and new school. Like new school is changing because it's making things better.
Yeah,
right?
For improvements.
So it's for improvements and development. So I get how people could be like, oh yeah, we trained hard back. That's exactly how it goes back in my day. But like,
it was just difficult for no reason.
It was literally
had we had better tools,
exactly.
We could have done a lot more.
Yeah, so I'm honestly jealous of this generation and how it's improving so fast, because it's like, man, I wish I had that growing up.
They don't know how easy they had it.
And yeah, technology in itself is, you know, with how it's improving as well, has its own challenges and, you know, things that they face. But yeah, it's, I think, developed way more from the past of us training on carpets and, you know, figuring the best way out. There's like more proof and evidence of like how things are working now. So I love how it's developing, actually, how the sport is evolving, because it's how everything's going to be in life. Like we have to kind of go with the change or be stuck in the past. So.
Yeah. Adapt or get left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So as far as, you know, you growing up in like the old school environment, what are some exercises or maybe training techniques or things that we did in class that you really liked about old school, but you think we could probably do a better version of them today?
Because again, I think we're always adapting to change for the better. So I understand why things are becoming the way that they are now. But back then it was a lot of repetition, like especially with basics and stuff. Like I honestly hated this part. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I understand like how important it is for this repetition. But in a kid's mind, they get bored. Yeah, they get bored. You need to be challenged. You need to like, okay, what's the next step? But that part is really good for you to just have as a value of like learning to have patience and just like really understanding the technique versus like just kind of doing it. Like, and you know, it's like you have to spend time on it and work at it in order for it to be at that, even if it's a low block, at a certain level of like how much you've done it. So I think but we also do repetition nowadays too. Like it's not, but I think that foundation of like, it was really, really strong with just like doing that was important, but now it's changed where it's like creative routes of like, we're doing the same thing, but let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. I think that's what I love about modern times, because we're learning how to do repetition, but making it better.
And keeping the students engaged.
Yeah. I think that was a very important thing, because I think that's why it was a roller coaster for me of my interests back then too, because it was probably like, again, yeah. Or it's like, okay, switch it up, or like, can we do it a different way this time? Here, face another direction, at least, or you know, like
face another direction is so real.
It's like that's all I had to take to change everything up. But no, but yeah, but another old training. Sorry, maybe that was it.
That's okay.
That I have in my mind.
No, that's totally fine. Okay. So one of the old school training things that like I really loved that we used to do is I trained with Master Nam. Obviously, you know this. He was so sporadic with his classes. Like back in the day, there was no like class plan or we should be working on this. Like we had curriculum, but it was really loose curriculum. It wasn't like so right now our curriculum at Eagle, we have sparring combinations and kicking combinations where it's already put together in like a scenario that you would actually use the moves. We would just have certain kicks back in the day. So we'd have like, okay, your kick is front kick. So we'd do like 3 front kicks and then we'd turn around and then show her 3 front kicks.
That's exactly us.
Super basic.
Yeah.
But with the training, he would use targets, and he'd just be like, okay, and he'd come up with some random kicking combination in his mind, and then we would just do random kicks throughout like the class. So it was like always focused on like the specific kicks, but not that it didn't correlate to our curriculum, obviously, because we had those kicks in our curriculum, but it was just so like different. And I think that's one thing that I really liked. And honestly, I just like targets because I feel like my thing was I obviously don't have the highest kicks. And when I was younger, I didn't really either. But I think accuracy and power were always two things that I felt like I did pretty good on. So with those are things that like we always did. Another thing was like, I don't know if this is like practical for footwork nowadays, but we had a ton of wave masters and bobs, and we would like line them up, and then we would have like a line of students, and then we'd go down and like round kick all the way down. And I don't know how like we would switch our feet or how it worked, but it worked for the time, and I just remember that was fun. Or he'd have like he made his own version of American Gladiator during class. Like it was just so random.
I think that's cool. I think that's being creative of like different things.
Yeah, he would like put the wave masters or the bobs like lined up like randomly, and he would have a line of students, and we'd have to like make it to the end without getting hit by like ping pong balls. Like him and the other instructors would throw at us, and we could like kick it out of the way or like dodge and stuff. But if we got hit by a ping pong ball, we were like out. It was just like so random for no reason. But like those are the stuff that I remember as a kid. And honestly, though, sometimes the instructors, Master Chuan, Master Lee, I'm calling you out, they would chuck those ping pong balls at us. And sometimes you get hit in the leg and you're like, oh my gosh, that's going to like leave a welt.
But I think that's what is meaningful for you, those memories. It could be a simple game. It could be a simple like drill. It doesn't matter. Like whatever you do in the Dojang like sticks with you through those feelings of like. So my dad is remembered by his bamboo stick that he hit with everybody. Everybody that has learned from my dad will remember his bamboo stick. It was just by his side the whole time in his hand, and it was scary. we get hit by the stick, you know, every day. No, but it's a kendo stick where it's like it makes sound.
It sounds a lot.
It sounds scarier than it is, but it's just, you know, again, he had broken English, like he had language barrier too, and it was just how culturally like that's how everyone disciplined back in the day too. It was definitely acceptable compared to now.
Back in the day, Master Tom did that to us too.
Like there's a side of me with discipline too where I'm like, I want to do this differently when I grow up, you know, before knowing that it's, you know, not going to be allowed. And that would be really weird with me holding a stick. I'm just like, it doesn't match me well. But, you know, I think through time, it changed with discipline as well, where we have to tell and show everybody why they did certain things wrong. I think back then I didn't know why sometimes.
You would get hit. You're just like,
I just didn't want to get hit. I'll just fix it now. It was there was an urgency in fixing it because you don't want to get hit. But now it's very like, I need to take time to explain to you.
So you can understand it. And we're on the same page. There's communication.
Yes. Which is important, and I understand why that is now too. But it is also like that was his
thing. He was like, did you? For sure. Okay, so obviously with you guys have changed a lot with the discipline, thankfully. As a student of yours, thankfully. So when did you guys really, because I'm assuming we don't carry the same curriculum that your dad had back in the day.
So he didn't have it. It was all in his head. And it wasn't something when we were growing up, my dad had this master plan of passing it down to us. It wasn't like, he was like, study, be a doctor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was very Asian. Like, you need to be a doctor. But I think it was maybe his lack of being able to evolve the business too. He didn't want it to fail. Obviously, he doesn't want to pass down a failed business or something that it won't, create a better life for us. So that wasn't in his mind at all. It was like, you're just learning Taekwondo because, I'm doing this, but you're going to
do something else.
Yeah, do something else. So the curriculum was all in his head. Like, he knew every step of the way, but it was really hard for us to transition in that way because we were like, we know how to teach classes. We know, he's been grooming us to help him, but as far as curriculum, it was like we had to start all over.
Oh, wow.
So we went to many seminars. We went to a lot of sources. Even his best friends are Taekwondo masters as well. Like, we got sent to them. Like, we're just all over the place trying to figure out, like, how can we do this if we're going to do this as a business. And me and my sister had the thrive of, like, wanting to do it right and learning about it more. But the guidance wasn't there from my dad because of, again, the fact that, like, I don't think he wanted it for us. And I don't think at the time as kids we were begging to take over. It was more like, but again, like, the unfortunate situations sometimes bring the best out of us too. And we're just like, let's do this full on kind of thing. So we didn't even expect to be where we're at now. Like, back then we were just probably like
trying to keep the one school
let's keep
afloat,
this let's not struggle, and let's try to keep this alive type of mind. And then every year we just kept this mind of, like, how could we have done that better? How could we have done that better? Or, like, it's just maybe life experiences, like, things happen. It's like, okay, how could we make that not happen again? And it's like all those steps got us here. It was never a plan for us to franchise into or become 3 locations, or, like, it was never something in our minds to become big. It was like one step at a time, maybe, like this podcast now.
For sure.
But it's just like the act of doing it and just applying something different the next year. And what was cool for us in our journey was, like, every year felt different. It didn't feel like another year's coming. It just felt like, okay, this is a new wave of problem. Kind of, we have to, like, solve and fix,
level up and
then 2 locations is different. We have to navigate on how we have to run this. And then this last year, 3rd location is just another, it just feels very different every single year of when we're doing, because it's because we're growing, and that's not a bad problem, but it is something, like, we're constantly trying to figure out and trying to, and I think because we're trying to better ourselves every step of the way, it's gotten us to this point. It's never been like, we give up on this because of that, or it's like, no, this is the only way. Like, we're
gonna figure it out.
We're very open-minded to figuring it out in a way that's best as possible for everyone too, now that we're growing.
I think because growing up, I started instructing at 14 and a half, which is like the legal age to work in California. And I talked about this on a previous episode where I remember the call I got from the studio, because I had stopped taking classes for a couple months. I can't remember why. But I was on the bus, like, going home, and I got a call from, it just said Victorville Taekwondo. And I was like, okay. I answered, and then I forget who it was, but they were working in the office that time, and they said, oh, hey, Leilani, we saw that you had just turned 14 and a half, and Master Dom wanted us to reach out and see if you were interested in instructing. You haven't been to the studio, and we just kind of wanted to talk to you about that. So I had to go home and tell my mom, and then be like, hey, can you drive me to the studio? And we get there, we have a meeting with Master Dom and my mom, and he basically says the same thing. And when we get back in the car, my mom asked me if that's what I want to do. And my first answer was yes, so I can get back in the studio because I missed it. And then my, second response was basically, I have always wanted to instruct. I've always looked up to all the instructors. And even at that young age, I noticed the impact they had on me as a student, and being able to have that impact on another student is just sounded so rewarding. And I was really excited to start my journey with that. And from 14 and a half, I taught classes until I was like 18, until I, moved to Vegas for college and stuff. I think everything I learned from being on our leadership team, it was called Gold Team back in the day. I was able to transfer all of those skills to, like, any real jobs I had out here, like, as not like a real job, but I mean, like, in the other job world with people I didn't know. Like everyone at the studio I grew up with. So it felt more like home than it was like a job. I loved it. So it didn't feel like a job. But I learned all of those skills and characteristics, and like I learned how to not be easily influenced, by people I didn't want to be like, or in certain situations I wasn't afraid to speak up for myself in like a respectful way. Just things like that where I feel like a lot of the younger generation might have trouble doing had they not had some sort of outlet to learn those things in. And like Taekwondo being so focused on your characteristics as a person, like it's not just about self-defense and doing all these flash kicks and going to demos and stuff. It's about who you are as a person and how you portray that in like your life, and you share that with others. Which is why it was really hard on my parents to put Zoe into it when she was 7, my little sister, because I think that even if she doesn't love Taekwondo, I think she can learn a lot about it and become like the best version of herself as a person, whether she sticks with it or not.
And there's just like these core values that we feel like everyone should have, but it's something like it's not always taught, like in every school that they go to or whatever environment that they're in. So it's like those values, I think, is what is super important that should align up to something else that they have to do in the future is the goal.
And I think it really sets Taekwondo apart, not just like from other martial arts or just sports in general, because kids growing up can do a lot of different things, and I think because there's so many things out there where they just focus on that one specific, like there's no character development implemented into it. So, being able to be a part of a sport that really focuses on that, I feel like has really impacted me as a person. And I love that, like, it's a universal Taekwondo thing. It's not like just one school or like one area of the country. It's like Taekwondo all over the world,
Yeah.
So obviously you guys have a huge leadership team, a ton of instructors on your guys' team to run 3 schools. What do you guys think, or what do you think that you guys have done that sets you apart from other schools that you really focus on, as far as like, it could be curriculum, it could be in competition team, it could be that we have pretty cool uniforms.
I mean, I think we were focused on ourselves. We've, been to seminars and we've learned from other people as well, but it's just like the whole, like, not comparing. Like, I don't know if we're doing it better or, like that, but I think we have a strong leadership team because they're the ones that are going to trickle down, because our student base of, again, what you just said with all this character development stuff is the most important to us. And so in order to cultivate that with all the locations, we need good people to be able to do that and stuff like that. So I think just the leadership of making sure that's passed down correctly is hopefully our strong point. I'd like to say that it is, but of course, it's always something that we're going to keep working on and trying to build and make stronger. But I think that's the most important part, is for us leaders to be able to pass down leadership skills to the next person, to the next person, to the next, because again, I think that's all what life is about, is like trying to figure out how you could lead your own life. So like, in order to help everyone else do that, I think it just needs to be guided and be those mentors for them.
That's awesome. So I know you said back in the day when your dad was teaching, he didn't really have like a set curriculum and stuff. Did you guys have like did he have a whole bunch of other instructors? I know Tropican is like a small, like, physical location.
No, it was just him. He was a one-man show. And then, but it was us. We helped. We were old enough to help. He also had loyal students of his, and they are black belts, and they also helped run, but it was very small back then. It was just very small. It was like they would help lead classes and things like that. But as far as I remember, there was no staff, or there's no like team.
So when did you guys decide that you wanted to start a leadership team, or when did the leadership team here start?
It was not too long ago after my dad passed, because I remember like our first generation of leadership team at Trop. So just fairly like a few steps after, because I really believe like team is like what's gotten us this far too. Like it's definitely not just I got us this far, like me and my sister only. Like it was a lot of working with other people. So it helped like shape us, but you know, trying to figure out who the right people are was something we kind of had to figure out. But once that happened, we're like, okay, we need a good group of leadership or staff maybe under us now. And so I think that's where it became a thing.
Nice.
And then, but once again, like seminars and other schools, I'm sure they've been doing this for longer than us. So it's one of those, when we reached out to seminars and things like that as well, like we learned from them and just implemented and applied things that worked for other schools. And we're like, this is the best thing that we could have changed. And, you know, it grew to this big team today. So I'm really grateful that we started it, because it would have just now it's impossible. Like we wouldn't be able to do anything by ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. And so obviously when student starts, they are focused obviously on their journey as a student. And then if they are interested in helping out or they join leadership, what do you think keeps the students around so long? Because say most kids start at like 7, 8-ish is like the average. And then they end up joining leadership teams. So now they're doing this as their first job until they're like, 18 or so. And then if they don't move away for college or anything and they decide they want to stay, then they're instructing until, you know, their mid-20s. And then I know Master Rossi is a homegrown master. So she's been here since she started and she's a 4th degree now. What do you think keeps people around that long? Not just like for our school in general, but like in Taekwondo as a whole.
I think that's a personal goal for each person. You know, there's certain things that people just specifically want, and then that's it. But I think if you really have a mindset of like, this is a lifestyle and this is how, like, this is just a part of my life, then it's going to be with them forever. But if it was just for a part of their life, for a moment in their life, that's okay too, and they moved on. But it's also like Taekwondo means the way of life. So it has to carry on with you, even if you're not there. But also, I think the consistency of you just constantly doing Taekwondo is always going to make you better. So I always think like staying in the long run is always the best thing to do, even if when you don't realize it, like at the time, it's just that you're showing up and you're being there is still going to be helpful for you. But some people just have it for a moment in their life and they move on, and that's okay too. So I think it's a personal journey rather than like what keeps them in, because they have to want it for themselves. They have to like understand that this is the community I want to be a part of. This is, you know, these are the people that give me positivity in life and lift me up. So they have to want it for themselves. And if they want to put themselves in that environment, that's up to them to decide, I guess.
And then as your Taekwondo journey, since you've seen a ton of students come through, do you notice, like, do a lot of people come back to it? Obviously, like, they stop and, you know, have their own lives, do you think?
It's cool to see the ones who grow up as adults and they choose to come back to it. I love seeing that because, you know, college and things like that get in the way, and that's okay. And even them going on their own career paths. But, like, that means there was, like, things that Taekwondo really held to them. That's why they want to like search for it again and get back into it. So I love seeing those. And that's why we have a lot of older students too, because Taekwondo was such a big part of their lives, or they're wanting to share it with their kids now. And there's just so many beautiful moments of like why they're getting back into it or why they're doing it for themselves again. But yeah, I do love seeing when they come back, obviously, because they were, it's just really cool to see students that I haven't seen in a long time. But
and they're kind of like different people when they come back too, obviously, because they go through a lot. Like that, like teenager to college is like a really big portion of like not what shapes you, but you're trying to like figure out who you are.
Yeah.
So you change a lot in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably cool to see like someone come back and you're like, oh my gosh, you're like interested in this and this now. Like, that's so cool.
Or they like open up more because they understand. Like it's like sometimes in routine you're just like, hi. But then you're like, oh my god, I miss Taekwondo. Like I think it was such a big like everyday part of me, and now I don't have it.
Now I need it.
Yeah, now I need it. So it's like, yeah, I love seeing old students again and their memories of how they, remember taking classes. So it's all a feeling, and if they were felt, they were feeling good afterwards, we did our job.
Yeah. That's fantastic. No, that's one thing I remember about Taekwondo all the time. It's obviously how it made me feel. And like, I just remember all the friends I made from Taekwondo, all like the fun times I had when I was younger. And like, even my friends nowadays, like I talk to maybe 1 or 2 people from high school, but from Taekwondo, most of my friends from Taekwondo growing up, I'm still really good friends with them nowadays. Like one of my best friends growing up, her name's Imari. She trained at Victorville Taekwondo with me, became one of the masters. We were instructors together. I was a bridesmaid in her wedding like last month or a couple months ago, and we just have like one of the strongest friendships I feel like I have. And I feel like it's because we, not that we like went to war together or anything, but we like trained. We sweat, we cried, we bled together. Like we bonded a lot.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. And I love, again, like the community sense of Taekwondo. It's because you're going to find your lifelong people here. And if not, it's okay too. Like it's one of those, like when you see each other again, you're going to like rekindle it just because you've been through stuff together, or like you're just on the same mindset of like culturally, like Taekwondo, like we respect each other so much in that sense too. It's like we're not around bad people, or at least like we're trying to be better, all of us. So we're in the same like mind of meeting like-minded people all the time. So I think when you meet Taekwondo people, you can tell. I don't know. I can tell. I can tell if you're a Taekwondo person, like just by your demeanor, sometimes the way you talk, or like just being respectful, like professional. There's a lot of really good qualities that are instilled just because you learned Taekwondo. So it's gonna go a long way, but sometimes students don't see that.
Yeah, until like later, and because I mean, obviously they're 8 years old. They're not gonna be like, I need to be confident. So completely get that. Going back to the leadership team, and I know Eagle Taekwondo has a lot of clubs. So you competed when you were younger. How do you think competition is as an athlete nowadays compared to like old school competing? Because I've spoken to also Master Lee. He was saying, his old school was like, 1 point to the body, 2 points to the head. And he's like, that's all it was. And I even found my old Hogu from when we were younger.
The circles?
Yes, the circles and the no padding in there. Like it was barely anything.
Oh, like it's so squishy.
Yeah, it's squishy and soft. Like you could feel every hit. It's not like anything was there. So how do you think like competition has evolved from when you were, competing in either Pumse and sparring to what it is now?
I mean, the whole technology of it, like changing the sport, has a lot to do with it. But again, I think it's for the better because it's more efficient and less injury prone. I feel like back then it was just like, it was just that.
That's exactly.
Then, I mean, there's good points of all of that as well. But I mean, I'm not saying like modern Taekwondo is not scary in itself too, where it's like it's not as aggressive, not, there is sides of it that is still the same. But because of technology, they just have to change the style to what works the best with hitting the Hogu electronically,
Yeah.
So it's just another game now. But again, I think just through time, just like technology evolved, like it's just going to keep changing little by little. But Taekwondo is still kicks, kind of thing. Like I don't think that's going to change, but it's going to change throughout no matter what. It's going to evolve kind of thing. And Pumse too, I feel like there's an old school way, but a modernized way is for, I think, athletes to avoid getting injured as much as, you know, to keep the longevity alive for you guys to keep practicing, because you could be like a lot older and like still move this way. I think it's considering that more than back then. It was just like sorry.
No, that's a great depiction for sure.
No, it was more like, and then now it's like very very like core, but before it was very like show your strength, show it, be big, and express. I think that was a big part of Pumse. And then now it's very by the book and there's rules to it, which I think that's a great way to change how Pumse was going, because how do you judge it?
Exactly.
You know, very like someone's big motions compared to another person's big motion, but there's no like, it's very, you know, Pumse is subjective in itself in a little bit as well, but now there's more accuracy involved and little right ways and wrong ways to do things. So I think it's changing for the better. Again, it's just a different time. It's just a different time. I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's just, I grew up through those changes where it's like, how many times is that going to change? You know, it's like, how many times am I going to have to fix that? But we have to just evolve with how the sports side is going, how Taekwondo is evolving, because that's why it's still here, because you know everyone's trying to evolve it. So we have to keep up with the changes and keep our research up as well. But growing up, seeing through it all, it's just also like, why are we changing so much type of thing. But when you understand there's reasoning behind everything, you need to go that way too.
No, I appreciate how technical Pumse is. That's why I prefer it to sparring, because I need someone to tell me like, oh, hey, my hand is too high for this low block. It needs to be like one fist away from my leg, because then I know I can fix that, and then I know when it's wrong. Where like sparring, it's all like reaction, and there's no real rules, kind of like as far as what you can do, you know. And that's too much freedom for me, because I feel like, oh, I didn't score, so obviously I did something wrong, and they're like, oh no, you moved out of the way or you reacted right or whatever, but this happened and it's just too much for me. I need like very technical rules. And then also, hope this isn't giving anything away, but right now my curriculum, I'm a second degree brown tip. We have a creative form and I don't know why, but that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. It took me like probably 15 minutes to figure out how I wanted to jumbi. I was like, well, I could do like the traditional one. I could do the Pyongwon jumbi. I could do the Koryo jumbi. I could do the Chani jumbi. And that was just too much freedom.
Just the overthinker in you.
It was too much freedom. I was like, this all feels wrong. Like, I was like, this does not feel right at all.
But the creative part is for you to figure out like what you want to do, or you're making something on your own.
Yeah,
which you like other people.
I had no idea what I wanted. I hope it looks good at testing on Saturday.
No, I'm sure it will.
So we are coming up to the end of this episode. Is there anything that you want to talk about or mention on this topic, or in the comparison of old school to new school, or like the direction of Taekwondo today?
No, I think that's what it is. I think they're just completely different things. Obviously, old school is going to keep changing. Like if people are stuck at like old school is better, not to say that they're wrong, but like you also have to change your mind and be open-minded about how things are developing, because like you're not going to be at an iPhone 4.
That's a great comparison.
No, but it's one of those like you have to keep up with the times as well. But I think it's nostalgic too, like for some people too. It's one of those like, I grew up like this, so like it just brings back memories and things like that. And I think people should take pride in traditions of like how they grew up in it, and it shouldn't, you know, change their perspective of how much they love Taekwondo, but it's gonna change.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that too. And I'm like, oh, we grew up and did this a certain way. And then when I talk to Zoe sometimes, and then I think back and I'm like, that actually, I would prefer if you didn't do that or go through that. But like, it's cool that I did, but I'm glad that you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate having you here. This was fantastic. And yeah, hopefully we'll have you back on soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks. See you guys next time. Bye.